Ah, the Sega Saturn. This console in 1995 looked so promising. It had a lot of Sega's popular coin-up titles. Its 3D graphics. It was absolutely amazing for the time. But why did it just disappear? It just couldn't compete against the Sony PlayStation. At the beginning, the Saturn looked more promising. Sony didn't have the reputation in the console market at the time. But Sony just got the third party support and started getting good games and earned its reputation. But let's have a look at the pad. Now this is actually the second Sega Saturn generation pad, because the one I have got over there, that's the first generation one. It broke. It seems to not be working properly with the system, but this one works just fine. And over here is the games I got for it. Now I've got quite a big collection, because at the time when I went into a game station in town, they just want to get rid of these. They just want them off the shelf, and they were just trying to sell them on for really cheap as they can. Do you know, I think I will pick the cheapest one today. Sega Rally Championship. Here we go. And they look like DVD cases, but strangely enough, they're not at all like DVD cases. They just open up like this. And it's just a paper here that supports it. And the manual just falls on the disc. Here we go. Sega Rally Championship. Now I like these boxes better. A bit later on, just before they discontinued the Sega Saturn, they brought out these type of boxes. And I don't know if this is some special way for opening them, but oh, this one actually opened. They're a bit harder to open. So I don't know why Sega changed for these cases, because I actually like these ones better, because they're a lot easier to open and shut. Anyway, let's have a good go at this. And now, I always remember playing this in the arcades, you know, and I remember I was in Spain and my mum and dad gave me some money to play on the arcades, and I remember seeing this game. I went, wow, I must have a go at this game. And you know, that car, I know it's not a Vauxhall Nova, but do you think it looks a lot like the Vauxhall Nova? Anyway, let's have a good play of this. This is a brilliant console, well, for the time. And this time I don't have to fit it in, I have to put the CD inside. Ooh. Now let's see this running. And here's the Saturn in all its glory, starting up. Now, I like the boot up screen for the Sega Saturn. Looks really nice. And here we go. You see, this is what I like about CDs. Alright, they're not as fast as cartridges, but, you know, they don't cost a fortune to make, and they load up pretty quick. So I can see why CDs caught on. And plus, they hold a lot of memory as well. Look how expensive the N64 cartridges were. So CDs were the way forward, definitely at the time. And just look at this, you know, it just went from the Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo to this kind of graphics. It's just absolutely amazing at the time. Anyway, let's play Sega Rally. Now one thing I don't get about this game, you can only choose 2 cars, like you can see here. So you can only choose 2 cars. It would have been a bit better if you could choose more than 2 cars, but that's only a small fault, because this is a really good game. And oh wow, just look at this.
3, 2, 1, go!
I know the graphics are nothing like the arcade. The arcade was better graphics. But, you know, you didn't have to keep spending £1 every time to have another go. You can have this in your house and play it on your pad. It's amazing at the time, having this in your house. The Saturn deserved more credit than it was due, because it was actually a very good system. You know, despite it being inferior in graphics to the Sony PlayStation and the N64, it wasn't a bad system. You know, it did have its good games. And one of these days I'd love to play Nights for it, because I heard from all round that is a really good Saturn game. So I like to get that one day for the Saturn. That's one thing I could have for my collection. Now, when I was a kid, when this first came out, I really wanted a Sega Saturn. But at the time they were £300, and I asked my mum, can I have one for Christmas? And, you know, back then we were, you know, looking after 2 kids. You know, you couldn't afford £300 for a console. So no, I never got to have a Saturn. You know, the only time I played on a Saturn was that Comet, when they had them on the demo displays. And if they catch you and you said, is your mum and dad in them? And I'm like, oh, no. They used to just chuck you out the shop. Anyway, let's get back to Sega Rally. What are you supposed to do? Well, on the top, there's a timer. And you've got to get to the checkpoint before that timer runs out. If that timer runs out, your car just grinds to a halt and stop. So what you have to do is get to that checkpoint as fast as you can. And really, that was dodging all the courses, and you've got to really take notice of the arrows and what the man is saying, because that's a way to do the level smoothly without bumping into the walls. As you can see here, I'm skidding all over the bloody place. Now I think I'm almost to the end of this course. You've got to be. But look, I think I'm just going to do it with a few seconds to spare. Come on! Come on! Yes! Done it! I've done it! Done it! You know, it looks very easy, this game, but it's hard to get to the checkpoints. Now, this one's always very hard to get to all the checkpoints. But I always like this course, it looks like an old village. Anyway, the controls in this game, it's actually very good. I find the controls quite easy to control. It looks like I fly around everywhere, but you just slow down for all these corners. You see, you only have seconds to spare. Look at the bloody top clock. Come on! You can also change your views from inside the car to the outside of the car. It does look good for Saturn game graphics, that. The car, and it just looks exactly like a Nova. I know it's not a Nova, but it does look a lot like the Nova. Oh no, only got a few seconds. This is really hard. Oh, only just. I have played Sega Rally 2 and the one for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox, but for some reason, I can't explain it, I always liked the original. Probably because it's the original, it's the first one I played on. Oh no, I run out of time. Anyway folks, it's game over for me, and it's the end of this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.